February 23, 1995. Singapore, a 28-year-old British trader walks into his office at 7:30 a.m. He sits at his desk, opens his computer, types a single message to his bosses in London. "I'm sorry." Then he walks out, disappears, leaves behind losses so massive they will destroy a bank that survived 233 years of wars, revolutions, and financial crises. Barings Bank, the bank that financed the Napoleonic Wars. The bank that funded the Louisiana Purchase. The oldest merchant bank in Britain, collapsed, bankrupt, destroyed by one trader in a Singapore office. His name was Nick Leeson, and he didn't steal anything. He just made trades, bad trades, unauthorized trades, hidden trades, until the losses reached $1.4 billion and there was nowhere left to hide. This is how one person destroyed an empire with a secret account numbered 88,888. Nick Leeson was born in 1967 in Watford, England. Working-class family, left school at 18, no university degree, started as a clerk at Coutts Bank sorting checks, then moved to Morgan Stanley in settlements, back office work, not trading, not glamorous, just processing paperwork for other people's trades, but he was good at it, excellent at details, understood the mechanics of how trades cleared and settled, understood the systems, the gaps, the weaknesses. 1989, Barings Bank recruited Leeson for their settlements department. Barings was struggling with their back office operations in Jakarta and had multiple settlement failures that cost them money. They needed someone who could fix messy situations, clean up errors, make the systems work properly. Leeson was sent to Jakarta. He sorted out the chaos, fixed their settlement problems, impressed management, got noticed. By 1992, Barings decided to expand into Singapore. They needed someone to run their new operation, someone who understood settlements, someone who could handle the operational side, someone they trusted. They chose Nick Leeson, 25 years old, working-class background, no trading license yet, but Barings believed in him, sent him to Singapore to set up their futures trading operation. He would handle the back office and settlements while real traders made the actual trading decisions. That was the plan, except Barings made a catastrophic mistake. They gave Leeson control of both trading and settlements, let him be both the person making trades and the person checking his own trades. Front office and back office, never supposed to be the same person, basic separation of duties that every bank follows, but Barings trusted him, and that trust would destroy them. Leeson arrived in Singapore in 1992 with his wife Lisa, started trading Japanese Nikkei futures and Japanese government bond futures. Simple arbitrage strategies, low risk, just exploiting tiny price differences between Osaka and Singapore exchanges. Should have been almost impossible to lose significant money. Barings wasn't trying to take big risks, just steady, safe profits from price discrepancies. Leeson was good at it, made consistent money. His bosses loved him. Called him their star trader. By the end of 1992, Leeson was reporting profits. By 1993, bigger profits. By 1994, he was supposedly generating 10% of Barings' entire annual profit from their small Singapore office. With low-risk arbitrage, management thought they had found a genius. But there was a problem. The profits weren't real. Leeson was losing money, had been from the beginning, making unauthorized speculative trades, betting on market direction, breaking every risk limit and losing, but nobody at Barings knew, because Leeson controlled the settlements, controlled the reporting, and he had created a secret account to hide his losses. Account number 88,888, the error account. Every trading operation has error accounts. When a trader makes a mistake, types the wrong quantity, wrong price, wrong direction, the trade goes into an error account temporarily until it can be corrected or reversed. Standard practice. Error accounts exist at every bank. They're supposed to be small, temporary, monitored closely. Leeson created error account 88,888 in July 1992, supposedly for handling client mistakes and operational errors. Nobody questioned it. He was the head of settlements. Creating error accounts was part of his job, except account 88,888 wasn't for client errors. It was for hiding his own losses, his unauthorized trades, his mounting disasters. It started small. An employee under Leeson made a trading mistake that lost £20,000. Small amount, but embarrassing. Leeson didn't want it showing up in his official reports, so he hid it in account 88,888. Then he made unauthorized trades trying to make back the £20,000, lost more money. Hid that in 88,888 too. Then bigger trades, bigger losses, all hidden in 88,888. The account grew £50,000, £100,000, £500,000, but Leeson's official trading account still showed profits, still looked successful, because he was lying, fabricating the numbers, falsifying reports, and nobody checked. Nobody audited account 88,888, because Leeson was responsible for checking himself. By mid-1993, account 88,888 had losses of £23 million. By end of 1993, £208 million, and Barings management had no idea. They saw Leeson as their most profitable trader. generating massive returns from safe arbitrage strategies. They increased his trading limits, gave him more capital, sent him more money to trade with. All of it went into bigger and bigger bets trying to recover the hidden losses. Leeson was trading futures contracts on the Nikkei 225 index, not safe arbitrage, wild speculation, betting the Japanese stock market would rise. When it fell, he lost. When it stayed flat, he lost. He needed the Nikkei to rise dramatically just to break even, and it wasn't cooperating. The psychological trap closed around him. He couldn't confess, couldn't admit the losses, because admitting to £23 million in losses meant his career was over, meant possible criminal charges, meant humiliation, so he hid it, convinced himself he could trade his way out. One good trade, one big win, recover everything, go back to having it all work out. Except he never recovered, just lost more. And the bigger the losses got, the more impossible confession became. At £50 million, he couldn't confess. At £100 million, definitely couldn't confess. At £200 million, absolutely impossible to confess. The only option was to keep trading, keep betting, keep hopping, keep lying. By 1994, Leeson was the largest single trader on the Singapore exchange, held massive positions. Barings Risk Management in London started getting worried, asked questions, requested information. How was Singapore generating such huge profits? What positions were they holding? What was the risk exposure? Leeson sent false reports, fabricated position statements, claimed most positions were hedged or held for clients, assured them risk was minimal. Management believed him. Because he had been right for 2 years. Because the profits kept coming. Because challenging your star trader seemed ungrateful and paranoid. They sent auditors to Singapore. Leeson showed them what they wanted to see, explained away discrepancies. The auditors left satisfied. But internally, things were breaking down. Leeson needed more money. The hidden losses required more capital to maintain the positions. He requested funding from London, claimed he needed money for margin requirements on client trades. Barings sent it. Millions, then tens of millions, then hundreds of millions. They thought they were funding profitable client business, actually funding Leeson's gambling addiction, trying to recover losses that couldn't be recovered. By the end of 1994, account 88,888 had losses of £512 million, £500 million, and Barings thought Leeson had just delivered them their most profitable year ever in Singapore. January 17, 1995, 5:46 a.m., Kobe, Japan, magnitude 7.3 earthquake. The Great Hanshin earthquake killed over 6,000 people, destroyed 100,000 buildings, devastated Japan's second largest port city, and destroyed Nick Leeson's last chance. Leeson's entire strategy was built on the Nikkei rising or staying stable. He had sold options betting the index would stay between certain levels, sold thousands of options contracts. Collected premiums, used the money to fund more futures positions. As long as the Nikkei stayed calm, he collected premium. If it moved dramatically, he faced unlimited losses. The earthquake triggered panic selling. Nikkei dropped 7% in 2 days. Leeson's options positions exploded. Losses accelerated catastrophically. But Leeson didn't stop, didn't close positions, didn't confess. Instead, he doubled down, bought more Nikkei futures, massive amounts, trying to single-handedly support the market. If he could buy enough contracts, push the index back up, maybe he could survive. It was insane, desperate, impossible. One trader trying to prop up the entire Japanese stock market. He bought 20,000 Nikkei futures contracts, then 30,000, then 40,000. Representing positions worth tens of billions, far exceeding Barings' total capital. He was using borrowed money, margin from the exchanges, money Barings had to wire to Singapore to meet margin calls. Barings' Treasury Department in London kept getting requests for huge cash transfers, hundreds of millions. They asked why. Leeson claimed it was margin for client trades, for hedged positions, for safe, profitable business. They sent the money, they trusted him, kept sending millions, £50 million, £100 million, £300 million. By late January, Barings had sent over £800 million to Singapore, their entire capital plus borrowed money. All funding Leeson's catastrophic positions, and the Nikkei kept falling. February 23, 1995, Leeson came to work, looked at his screens. Nikkei had fallen again overnight. Losses in account 88,888 now exceeded £800 million. No possible way to hide it anymore. Margin calls he couldn't meet. Positions he couldn't close without massive visible losses. Barings would demand explanations, would discover account 88,888, would see the unauthorized trading, the lies. The falsified reports, years of fraud. It was over. He typed his resignation. "I'm sorry," walked out, went home, told his wife they needed to leave. Immediately, they packed one bag each, went to the airport, flew to Kuala Lumpur, then Brunei, then Bangkok, running, hiding, while behind them Barings Bank began to collapse. Barings management discovered account 88,888 that same day. discovered the real positions, the real losses, the lies. The entire fiction fell apart in hours. By the evening they knew, £827 million in losses, $1.4 billion, more than double Barings' total capital. The bank was insolvent, bankrupt, beyond rescue. Peter Baring, chairman of Barings Bank, called the Bank of England, explained the situation. Asked for an emergency bailout. The Bank of England assembled Britain's major banks for an emergency weekend meeting, tried to organize a rescue. Nobody would take on the losses. Nobody wanted Barings' toxic positions. By Sunday, February 26, negotiations collapsed. No rescue, no bailout. Monday, February 27, 1995. Barings Bank was declared insolvent, put into administration. Britain's oldest merchant bank, 233 years of history, survived Napoleonic Wars, financed the Louisiana Purchase, funded railways across South America, destroyed by one trader in Singapore. The Queen's personal bank, the most prestigious name in British banking, gone, collapsed, wiped out by Nick Leeson's secret account. Dutch banking group ING bought Barings for £1. £1 just to acquire the brand name and some of the non-toxic operations. Everything else was destroyed. Nick Leeson and his wife Lisa were hiding in a hotel in Borneo when Barings collapsed. They had no plan, no money, no escape route, just running blindly from consequences. Lisa wanted to go to the British embassy. Surrender, face it. Nick refused, kept moving, flew to Frankfurt. Maybe Germany wouldn't extradite him. Maybe he could disappear in Europe. They arrived in Frankfurt on March 2. Nick was exhausted, emotionally shattered, physically breaking down. Lisa begged him to stop running. He finally agreed. They would surrender, turn themselves in. But before they could reach the British embassy, German police arrested them at the airport. Singapore had issued an international warrant. Fraud, forgery, deceiving auditors. Nick Leeson was now an international fugitive, an international financial criminal, the man who destroyed Barings Bank. German tabloids published photos, headlines screamed. The British press crucified him, called him a rogue traitor, a criminal mastermind, a symbol of everything wrong with financial deregulation. But Leeson wasn't a mastermind. He was a 28-year-old who made bad trades and lied about them, then kept lying until the lies became catastrophic, until the lies destroyed a bank. Germany held extradition hearings. Singapore wanted him back, wanted to prosecute. Britain also wanted jurisdiction. Frankfurt courts debated for months. Leeson developed colon cancer while in German custody, lost massive amounts of weight, looked skeletal, haunted. Finally, Germany approved extradition to Singapore. December 1995, Nick Leeson returned to Singapore in custody, faced trial for his crimes. The trial was brief. Leeson pleaded guilty. 2 counts of deceiving Barings auditors, 2 counts of cheating the Singapore exchange. Faced maximum 14 years. His lawyer argued he never stole anything, never personally profited from the fraud. All the money went into trading losses, trying to recover previous losses. No mansions, no offshore accounts, no luxury lifestyle, just gambling with the bank's money, trying to fix unfixable problems. The judge was unmoved. Sentenced Leeson to 6.5 years in Singapore's Changi prison. Leeson served his time, Reed studied. Wrote a memoir called Rogue Trader, explaining everything. How it started, how it grew, how it became impossible to stop. Film adaptation was made in 1999 starring Ewan McGregor. Leeson became famous as the ultimate cautionary tale. The trader who destroyed a bank, released from prison in 1999 after serving 4 years, deported back to Britain, divorced from Lisa, broke, cancer survivor, famous for all the wrong reasons. Barings' collapse shocked the financial world. How did nobody notice? How did one trader in Singapore accumulate $1.4 billion in losses without detection? How did all the controls fail? The post-collapse investigations revealed a catastrophic series of failures. Barings had no real risk management, no independent oversight of Leeson, no verification of his reports, no one checked account 88,888. No one questioned how Singapore was generating 10% of the bank's profit from supposedly low-risk arbitrage. Management saw profits and stopped asking questions. Auditors asked questions but accepted Leeson's explanations without verification. Risk managers in London requested information but trusted the false reports Leeson sent them. The fundamental problem was combining front office and back office. Letting Leeson both make trades and settle trades meant he could create fake trades, fake reports, fake positions, could hide anything. As long as he controlled the reporting, he controlled reality. Everyone was seeing his version of events, his fabrications, his fiction, and nobody verified independently. Nobody checked the actual positions with the exchanges. Nobody audited account 88,888 until it was too late. This was banking 101 failure. Separation of duties exists for exactly this reason, but Barings violated it, trusted one person, and paid the ultimate price. The Bank of England investigation was brutal, criticized Barings' management at every level, criticized their risk controls, their oversight, their audit procedures, concluded that Barings had been poorly managed and inadequately supervised. the British government reformed banking regulations, created stricter requirements for risk management, mandatory separation between trading and settlements, better auditing requirements. The scandal accelerated financial reform that was already happening after other trading disasters in the early 1990s. But here's the uncomfortable question. Was Nick Leeson really a rogue trader, or was he just the visible symptom of systemic problems? He didn't force Barings to give him control of front and back office, didn't force them to ignore risk management, didn't force them to send him hundreds of millions without verification. The system allowed him to hide losses. The culture encouraged profit without questioning how profits were generated. Management wanted results and didn't ask hard questions. Leeson exploited all of this, but he didn't create it. The rot was institutional. The failure was collective. Leeson was just the person who pressed every vulnerability until the whole structure collapsed. And this wasn't the last time. Jérôme Kerville at Société Générale in 2008 lost 4.9 billion euros using similar tactics. Unauthorized trading, false reporting, exceeded limits by billions, hidden positions until they exploded. Kweku Adoboli at UBS in 2011 lost $2.3 billion exactly the same way. Unauthorized trades, fake hedges reported to risk management, hidden losses in accounts that weren't monitored. The patterns repeat. Young traders, pressure to perform, initial losses leading to bigger bets, lies compounding, controls failing, banks learning the same lessons over and over. Nick Leeson lives in Ireland now, works as a speaker, talks about risk management, about what went wrong, about how one person can destroy institutions if the controls aren't there. He doesn't defend what he did, admits it was criminal, admits the lies, admits the devastation he caused, but he points out something important. He was 25 years old when it started, working-class kid given enormous responsibility, no real training in risk management, no oversight, no checks. Asked to generate profits, when he failed, he panicked, hid it, then spiraled into bigger and bigger lies because confession became impossible. This is the psychology that destroys banks, not evil masterminds, ordinary people under pressure making bad decisions, then making worse decisions trying to fix the first bad decisions, then lying to cover the worst decisions, then the lies become normal, become part of daily routine. The trader comes to work every day, checks positions, sees catastrophic losses, files false reports showing profits, goes home, sleeps, wakes up, does it again, day after day. The cognitive dissonance becomes normalized. This is just what you do now. This is survival. Keep lying, keep hopping, keep believing that somehow it will all work out. But it never works out. The losses always grow faster than any possible legitimate profits. The positions always exceed what can be hidden. The margin calls always exceed what can be explained away. Eventually, reality forces exposure. Market crash, audit, margin call too large to meet, something breaks the illusion, and then everything collapses at once. The trader runs or confesses, the bank discovers the truth, the losses get revealed, and the institution dies. Modern banks learned from Barings. Supposedly, strict separation of duties now. Trading is monitored by independent risk management. Settlements are verified independently. Audit trails are comprehensive. Positions are checked against exchange records daily. Limits are enforced by systems, not by traders self-reporting. All the controls that should have stopped Leeson, but traders still find ways. Jérôme Kerville bypassed controls by creating fake hedging trades that made his positions look balanced. Kweku Adoboli did the same thing. The controls get better, the evasion gets smarter. The fundamental problem remains. Some people will lie under pressure, will hide losses, will gamble with other people's money, and if the controls aren't perfect, disaster follows. What makes Leeson's story so shocking is the scale and the speed. 3 years from golden boy to bank destroyer. £20,000 loss becoming £827 million. Safe arbitrage becoming wild speculation. Profitable trader becoming desperate gambler. It happened so fast, and nobody noticed. Not his wife, not his colleagues, not his bosses, not the auditors, not the risk managers. He hid it all, walked into work every day with a smile, filed his false reports. Bought more futures contracts, lost more money, came home, normal life. Behind it, a secret catastrophe growing exponentially. Until February 23, 1995, when he walked out and let it all collapse. Barings Bank financed the Napoleonic Wars and survived. Financed the Louisiana Purchase and survived. Financed railways across South America and survived. Survived 2 world wars. Survived the Great Depression. Survived 233 years of financial crises and economic chaos. But it couldn't survive Nick Leeson. Couldn't survive one young trader with too much authority and too little oversight. That's the lesson. Institutions aren't destroyed by external threats. They're destroyed by internal failures, by trusting the wrong people, by ignoring basic controls, by prioritizing profits over verification, by seeing what they want to see instead of what's really there. This is cinematic history tales where financial disasters get exposed, where we learn how institutions collapse from within, where we understand why smart people make catastrophic mistakes. Subscribe because Nick Leeson's story isn't unique. Same patterns repeat, same pressure to perform, same temptation to hide losses, same spiral of lies becoming normal, same sudden collapse when reality forces exposure. Whether it's rogue traders, fraudulent companies, or failing banks, the psychology doesn't change, just the names and numbers. The man who destroyed Britain's oldest bank didn't start out as a criminal, started as an ambitious working-class kid given too much responsibility, then made mistakes, then lied bigger, then gambled to recover, then lost everything, and took a 233-year-old institution down with him, all because nobody checked account 88,888.